The elderly doctor looked at young Ibrahim. "Is there no one else who can donate blood?" he asked. Ibrahim shook his head. The 12-year-old boy was the only person in the entire village with the same blood type as his brother. Despite his fear, he extended his arm. "I'll do whatever it takes to save my brother," he said. The doctor looked at him with concerned eyes. "This could be dangerous for you, son." Ibrahim's response would become one of the defining moments that shaped the character of the future leader of an entire nation. "It doesn't matter. I'm ready." The walls of the small clinic in Bondwi village echoed with the sound of rain. Outside, a storm was raging, but inside an even greater tempest was brewing. When Dr. Musa saw the determination on Ibrahim's face, he was reminded once more of the gravity of the situation. 5-year-old Malik was lying in bed, burning with fever. A disease never before seen in the village had taken hold of the young child's body. The laboratory results had delivered devastating news. The child urgently needed a blood transfusion, and only one person in the village shared his rare blood type: his brother Ibrahim. Dr. Musa whispered quietly to his assistant, "Did you know this boy won a scholarship to school? He was supposed to go to the capital next week." But now Ibrahim faced two choices: either give blood to his brother and risk his own health in the process, or leave the village and preserve his chance to pursue his dreams. "How much blood do you need?" Ibrahim asked, his voice steady despite his fear. Dr. Musa hesitated. "To be honest, we'll have to take more than necessary. Our laboratory equipment is inadequate, and..." Ibrahim cut him off. "You didn't answer my question, doctor. 3 times the amount that would be safe to take from a child your age," the doctor finally admitted. "But I can't do it, it's too risky." Ibrahim looked into the doctor's eyes. "Will my brother die without it?" Dr. Musa sighed. "Yes, without intervention in a few hours, then do it," said Ibrahim, extending his arm. "I would sacrifice everything for my brother." Just then the clinic door burst open. Ibrahim's mother, Aminata, entered, soaking wet from the rain. "No," she cried when she realized what her son was about to do. "Ibrahim, I can't allow this. You're going to school. It's your only chance." Ibrahim turned to his mother. There were tears in his eyes, but his voice remained calm. "Mom, if my brother dies, no school could ever make me happy. This is my decision." Dr. Musa tried to intervene. "Mrs. Traoré, perhaps we can find another solution. I've sent word to town for help, but in this storm..." Before he could finish his sentence, a loud explosion was heard. The clinic's electricity went out, plunging the room suddenly into darkness. "The generator!" Dr. Musa shouted in panic. "We need to start it or we'll lose Malik." Ibrahim quickly got up. "I'll handle it," he said, and rushed outside despite the storm. The storm outside was terrifying. Wind and rain battered the 12-year-old boy's thin body. The generator behind the clinic was almost submerged in water. Ibrahim waded through mud up to his knees. Starting the generator seemed nearly impossible, but Ibrahim refused to give up. After 3 failed attempts, on the 5th pull, the engine sputtered to life. The electricity was back, but Ibrahim's body was now completely exhausted. When he returned to the clinic, he was soaking wet and covered in mud. Dr. Musa looked at him with concern. "I can't perform a blood transfusion in this condition," he said. "You're too exhausted and it increases the risk even more." Ibrahim lay down on the stretcher. "Don't worry about my condition, doctor," he said, extending his arm. "My brother is more important than anything." That night in the small clinic, the fates of the 2 brothers became intertwined. Dr. Musa, for the first time in his career, broke medical rules by taking an unsafe amount of blood from a child. Ibrahim didn't say a word throughout the procedure, only staring at the ceiling. When the transfusion was complete, Malik's fever began to drop. But Ibrahim's condition was deteriorating. Excessive blood loss and exposure to the storm had brought him to the brink of a dangerous infection. Dr. Musa rushed between the 2 brothers. The thought of having sacrificed Ibrahim to save Malik deeply wounded him. "Why?" the doctor whispered as he checked Ibrahim's pulse. "Why did you go so far?" Ibrahim's eyes opened slightly. Because, he said in a weak voice, someday, maybe I can help many people. But now, my brother needs me. If I can't save even one person, what kind of leader could I ever be? Doctor. Musa's eyes widened in surprise. In that moment, he saw the potential within this small child. Later that night, the clinic door opened again. The storm had subsided, and Dr. Musa thought the messenger he had sent for help had returned. However, the person standing at the door was someone no one expected. Colonel Diarra had come from the Burkina Faso military academy. He had been passing through the village by chance that day, and seeing the lights of the clinic, wanted to offer help. Their condition is critical, said Dr. Musa, pointing to the two brothers. To save the younger one, the older brother risked his entire health. Colonel Diarra approached Ibrahim's bed. He looked at the child's pale face and trembling hands. What is this boy's name? He asked. Ibrahim Traoré, said the doctor. He showed incredible courage. He sacrificed everything to save his brother. Colonel Diarra nodded thoughtfully. We need young people with such spirit in our academy. If he survives, I'd like to offer him a scholarship. Dr. Musa looked at him in surprise. Really? That was his dream. He wanted to go to school, but... First, let's save him, said the colonel, preparing his equipment. For an extraordinary child, we must make an extraordinary effort. That night, Colonel Diarra and Dr. Musa worked for hours to save young Ibrahim's life. Towards dawn, a miracle happened. Both Ibrahim and his brother Malik had survived the danger. When the sun rose, Ibrahim opened his eyes. His first question was, "How is my brother?" "He's well," said Dr. Musa with a smile. "He's alive thanks to you." Ibrahim smiled with relief. Then it was all worth it. A few days later, as Ibrahim was recovering, Colonel Diarra visited the clinic again. This time he had an official document with him. "Ibrahim Traoré," said the colonel in a serious voice, "your courage and sacrifice are the most valuable qualities I want to see in a soldier. I'm offering you a full scholarship at the Burkina Faso Military Academy." Ibrahim's eyes widened in surprise. But I just wanted to save my brother. I didn't do anything special." The colonel smiled. "True heroism is thinking you didn't do anything special. Real leadership is not being afraid to make sacrifices for others." With this offer, Ibrahim had the chance to leave his village. But he had one condition. "I want my brother Malik to receive an education too," he said, his eyes shining with determination. "I gave my blood for him. Now I'll fight for his future as well." Colonel Diarra was impressed. "All right," he said, nodding. "I'll arrange a special scholarship for your brother too. Both of you will complete your education." And so the story of sacrifice that began in a small village clinic forever changed the lives of the two brothers. Ibrahim went to the military academy and became one of the brightest students in his class. Malik was placed in the best school in their village. Years passed, and Ibrahim Traoré rose quickly through the military ranks. With exceptional abilities and courage, he distinguished himself during the MINUSMA peacekeeping mission in Mali. But with each success, with each medal, he remembered that stormy night. One day, at an important military ceremony in Ouagadougou, the capital of Burkina Faso, Captain Ibrahim Traoré, now promoted to that rank, spotted a familiar face in the crowd. Dr. Musa, his hair now completely white, wrinkles deepened, was watching him with pride. After the ceremony, Ibrahim rushed to the old doctor. "Dr. Musa," he called out, almost not recognizing the aged physician. "What a great surprise to see you." The old man smiled. "So you remember me, Ibrahim? You've become a great man now." Ibrahim held the doctor's hands. "How could I forget you? I'm alive because of you. My brother is alive because of you." Dr. Musa shook his head. "No, Ibrahim. You're here because of your own courage and sacrifice. I was merely a witness." "How is Malik?" Ibrahim asked, thinking of his brother. "Very well," Dr. Musa said with a smile. He passed the entrance exams for medical school. He wants to save lives just like you. Ibrahim's eyes lit up. The blood he had given years ago would now save other lives in a different way. Dr. Musa, Ibrahim said seriously, I want to make you a promise. One day there will be a clinic in every village in Burkina Faso. No child will have to go through what I did to save their sibling. The old doctor smiled. I believe that, Ibrahim. One day, you will be a great leader. Shortly after this conversation, political turmoil began in Burkina Faso. The country faced instability and the threat of terrorism. During this challenging period, Ibrahim Traoré had to make decisions that would change the fate of his country. In September 2022, Ibrahim Traoré assumed the position of interim president of Burkina Faso. On his first day in office, he summoned two people he had known since childhood, Dr. Musa and his brother Malik. I owe both of you thanks for where I am today, said Ibrahim, fighting back tears. Dr. Musa, you taught me what compassion and courage mean. Malik, you taught me the value of brotherhood and sacrifice. Dr. Musa, now in his 80s, couldn't hold back his tears. I never forgot the light of leadership I saw in a small child's eyes that night in the clinic. Now the entire country sees that light. Malik, now a successful doctor, stood by his brother's side. Brother, you saved my life. Now you're saving the life of our country. Ibrahim announced his first decision from the presidential office. From today onward, a health center will be established in every village in Burkina Faso. No child will have to walk miles for treatment. No family will have to make impossible choices. This decision received widespread support throughout the country. People knew that their new leader spoke not just with words, but with his own life story. Under Ibrahim Traoré's leadership, Burkina Faso continued to struggle with challenges. But in every moment of crisis, in every difficult decision, Ibrahim remembered that stormy night, the night he gave blood for his brother, the night he ran against the storm to start the generator. A leader's greatest strength, he would say, in his speeches, is the ability to sacrifice. If I cannot sacrifice myself for my people, how can I expect sacrifice from them? This philosophy became the foundation of his governance approach. Every policy, every decision was built on this principle. One day a journalist asked him, Mr. President, despite your young age, how are you able to make such wise decisions in this role? Ibrahim smiled. Wisdom comes not with age, but with experience. At 12 years old, I learned something that some people never learn in a lifetime. Sometimes in life, the most valuable gains come after the greatest sacrifices. The journalist asked curiously, what was that lesson? One night, said Ibrahim, his eyes gazing into the distance. In a small village clinic, I risked my own life to save my brother. That night I understood that true leadership is being able to value others' lives more than your own. This story spread throughout Burkina Faso, even across Africa. As people heard this previously unknown story about their leader, their trust and respect for him grew. Throughout his term, Ibrahim Traoré worked to protect his country's independence and dignity. In international meetings, he advocated for Africa's right to control its own resources. Africa, he would say in every speech, is not a continent in need of aid, but a continent worthy of respect. Just like I once was, it has the power and will to solve its own problems. Years later, when Ibrahim Traoré completed his term, he returned to Bondouille village. Now the village had a modern hospital named Brotherhood Hospital. At the hospital's opening ceremony, the elderly Dr. Musa was also present. Ibrahim held the doctor's hands and, turning to the crowd, said, "This man once believed in a child. He believed in the sacrifice a child could make for his brother. Today I tell you that a nation's true strength lies in the sacrifices we can make for one another." The crowd applauded enthusiastically. Among them was Malik, who had once fought for his life in a small clinic. Now a successful doctor, Malik stood by his brother's side, and together they smiled as they looked toward the future of their village. For Ibrahim Traoré, leadership was never about uniforms, ranks, or titles. Real leadership was about being able to sacrifice for the people you love and the values you believe in. And that lesson, which he learned at just 12 years old in that small village clinic, became the greatest treasure of a leader who changed the destiny of a nation. A true leader, Ibrahim would summarize, is someone who can give their own blood first for their brother, then for their people, because flowing through a nation's veins is the blood of sacrifice and brotherhood.